Anywhere you go.
Hi guys, are you ready for part 4 of how to teach your child to read and write? Let's dive in. If you are a parent to a young child, subscribe to my channel. I will be bringing some interesting materials for you. If you haven't watched the previous parts, in part 1, we talked about when to start this process, how long should you teach, how do you appreciate and encourage your child. Part 2, we talked about materials. Part 3, we talked about sounds and description of the alphabets. And part 4, which is this video, we will be talking about the actual process. Before you start teaching your child to write the alphabets, make sure that your child meets the prerequisite. The prerequisite is to draw lines and circles. If your child can draw lines and circles, it doesn't have to be perfect, but if she can draw lines and circles, then move on. If not, download the prerequisite sheet. It's in the printable. Download that and practice the prerequisite. Help her understand that a line has start and end, and it has a direction. Same thing. Circle has a start and ends at the same point, and it can be clockwise or counterclockwise. So we wanted to introduce that concept in the prerequisite, and once she's ready, she can start practicing alphabets. Right? We are going to start with small alphabets. Why? Because small alphabets constitutes the majority of the text in a book. Now let's look into the curriculum sheet. If you dive in the curriculum sheet, you will see alphabet sounds laid out for 31 days. Not just the alphabets, there are also some blends, but there are 26 alphabets and then some 2-letter blends that we wanted to introduce in the first 31 days. We will introduce one alphabet a day and spend 10 seconds for that alphabet. The next day, you will introduce another alphabet, spend 10 seconds for the new alphabet, and revise the old alphabet. So that's 20 seconds, and going forward, it's the same. New alphabet and these two alphabets that we practiced before. So 30 seconds the third day. So if you keep progressing that way, by the end of this whole exercise where we cover 31 different sounds, 26 plus some blends, you will end up having 5 minutes. 31 days, 10 seconds, that should come up to 310 seconds, which is 5.2 minutes. You could do a minimum of 1 session a day or 3 sessions a day. So 5 minutes altogether by the end of 31 days. And if you're doing 3 sessions, it'll be 15 minutes. So you don't want to spend more than 15 minutes. You want to stick with just 15 minutes a day, and that's enough to learn this process. Remember, this timing is just a guideline. So 15 minutes is just a guideline. The first 5 minutes, if you can do 3 sessions, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, you'll be doing 3 5-minute alphabet sound sessions in a day. If you cannot do that, put them together and just do 15 minutes in which you will just do 5 minutes alphabet sounds, that the 31 day exercises, and then move on to something else like coloring or do something else. You still wanted to sit for 15 minutes, so you're basically providing that, you're basically stretching that bonding time, and that will help you in the future to sit with your child for any other mentoring, any other activities. So here's how the process works. The first day, we're going to teach K, as in the curriculum sheet. We're going to go in the order of the alphabets that's provided in the curriculum sheet and not in the regular alphabet order. So the first one is K. First day, you're going to teach K for 10 seconds. Second day, K and A for 20 seconds. And then K, A, T for 30 seconds. And we talked about the description in the previous video. So if you're teaching K, you put the dot in a sheet and you go curly worm and introduce a sound, that's K. And for A, the same thing. You draw a circle or a ball and then put a tail, that's A, and practice that for 10 seconds. And the next day, T is hockey stick with the stick, with a cut, hockey stick with a cut, yes. That's T, and practice that for 10 seconds. So third day, you're practicing for 30 seconds, 3 alphabets. When you are introducing these sounds, first introduce the alphabet, introduce the sound and the description, and you practice a few times and then have your child practice. After you're done practicing, write the progress in the progress sheet and file this in the folder that we talked about in the materials needed. Then we took blank flashcards. Remember, in the materials needed, we had blank flashcards. So let's write these letters in the flashcards. So it's handy. You can take it anywhere you want and you can just revise whenever you get time. Or when you're revising, you could use the same flashcard or the practice exercise sheet. Either one would work. The one that you filed in the folder, the one that you put in the folder, or the blank flashcard. So keep both handy. Put them all in a bag or something and keep them handy. What if the child is not interested? If the child is not interested, just pack up and move on. The emotion that this brings to the child and yourself, like together, that's more important than the actual process. The child will remember that emotion, and if it's a happy one, she'll be more interested the next day. So you want to make sure that it's a happy one-on-one time. Remember, consistency is the key here. So even if the child does not like the process, be consistent, do the same exercise the next day. Right, what if the child is happy and she wants to do more? I would say just keep it less than 15 minutes, even if the child likes it, because it's not needed. It's not necessary that your child should sit more than 15 minutes a day. 5 minutes if you're putting them all in one session. If you're spreading it out, if you have time to do 3 sessions, then 5, 5, 5, that's okay. But if you're just doing 15 minutes, one 15-minute session, then just do 5 minutes and move on with other activities like read a book or color or do something else, but you don't have to go more than 5 minutes a session. Okay, beyond the first 3 days, after we formed cat, we spent 30 seconds. The third day, we put the sounds together and formed cat. What's after that? So the next day, I think the word is hops. So we will start with h. Fourth day, it's h. So that's 10 seconds and go back and revise k at either using the flashcard or the sheets that we filed in the folder. So h, k at. So that's fourth day. And then the fifth day would be ah, h, ah, k at. So that's 50 seconds. And you're gonna keep building like this. So I think 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, seventh day, you will have the sentence cat hops, the small sentence. By the end of this cat hops day, you have introduced 2 words. Also, those 2 words are forming a sentence. Now introduce the first page of the storybook where the cat is hopping. Cat hops. So we will repeat this process and introduce words and form the sentences of the story. And here is a story that I made, and I might come back and change it if needed. But this is what it looks like at the moment. Okay, so we're introducing the sentences and then we show the page of the storybook. This is our first page of the storybook, and then when we are ready with the next sentence, we'll show the next page. We'll move on to the third page and so on. The requirement for my story is that the sentence has to use simple words, especially simple CVC words. The second requirement is I only wanted to use the alphabets that I introduced. By the end of 31 days, you would have introduced all 26 alphabets, a few blends, and actually a story. The concept of blends to make the words, and then the concept of words that makes the sentence, and then eventually a story. So this is what you would have by the end of 31 days. Next next video, we'll talk about some exercises that will solidify the sounds that we learned and writing these alphabets. For now, all the sheets that we talked about in this video and the previous video is available in the printable, and the link to the printable is in the description box below. Download that, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.